from the Department of Communication in Phillipsburg. This is 30 Minutes with Government with Cedric Peterson.
Hello, and welcome to this edition of 30 Minutes with Government. A travel ban has been issued for St. Martin. Minister of Health, Care, Social Development and Labor, the Honorable Cornelius de Wever, has issued a ban as a precautionary measure in our national preparedness for Ebola virus disease prevention, management and control. Here now is the minister's official address announcing the travel ban.
My fellow St. Martiners, the Ebola virus is a severe, often fatal illness in humans. The current outbreak is believed originated in Guinea in December 2013. The outbreak has reached community transmission and it impacts 2 additional countries, namely Liberia and Sierra Leone. In August 2014, the Emergency Committee of the World Health Organization declared that the Ebola outbreak in West Africa constitutes an extraordinary event and a public health risk to other countries, that the possible consequences of further international spread are particularly serious. Ebola is considered a public health emergency of international concern. The government of St. Martin has been working to put the necessary plans and protocols in place, along with our stakeholders and partners, in order to protect the public health of the St. Martin community. These plans are in line with our international obligations to the World Health Organization with respect to the international health regulations. On October 23rd, the West African country of Mali reported its first confirmed case of Ebola. Senegal and Nigeria have officially been declared by the WHO as Ebola-free. This is a reminder that this disease can be contained and defeated. The situation surrounding Ebola is fluid, and one must be prepared to take the necessary measures deemed necessary to keep St. Martin safe. Per advice of the health officials of the Ministry of Public Health, Social Development and Labor, St. Martin hereby issues a travel ban, entry and transit to all persons that have traveled in the past 21 days to, from, and through the following countries where the outbreak is not contained, namely Guinea, Liberia, Sierra Leone, and the Democratic Republic of Congo. This travel ban will also apply to persons who have been in contact with a suspected or confirmed Ebola case from affected Ebola countries. The travel ban will remain in effect until the areas and countries are declared Ebola-free by the World Health Organization. In addition, for boats, cruise ships coming in, no boat or ship that has a person or persons on board that fit the profile will be allowed to come to shore. No passenger on the boat or ship will be allowed to disembark the ship. Incoming flights with suspect cases will be allowed to land, refuel, and return to the country of origin. A person or persons returning from Ebola-affected countries that are registered on St. Martin will be allowed to enter St. Martin under the condition that they are quarantined for at least 21 days upon arrival. In conclusion, you cannot get Ebola easily. Ebola is not an airborne disease. You cannot get it through casual contact with someone. The only way you can get this disease is by coming into direct contact with the bodily fluids and secretion of someone with symptoms. The incubation period from time of infection to symptoms is 2 to 21 days. This measure taken is to ensure that the people of St. Martin are protected and that the economy of this country is not impacted negatively in any form or fashion with respect to the Ebola virus disease. Thank you, and God bless the nation of St. Martin.
The government of St. Martin, specifically the Ministry of Healthcare, encourages you to get informed. Visit the official government website, www.stmartingov.org, and click Health Updates for more information on Ebola and get informed. The Department of Statistics, in collaboration with the Chamber of Commerce, hosted an information session on Friday, October 24th at the Bel Air Community Center. The objective of the session was designed to introduce statistics and data to the business community and to inform the business community on the key role it plays in building quality statistics and data. Acting Secretary General of the Ministry of Tourism, Economic Affairs, Telecommunication and Transportation, Mr. Miguel de Wever, delivered the opening remarks at Friday's session on behalf of the Minister, the Honorable Ted Richardson, where he focused on the past and how far we've come. the importance of statistical information, and to encourage the continued support of the business community.
I remember when I started to work with the island government in 1997 as a policy advisor at the Department of Economic Licenses. I was the only economist in that department as well as in the entire government. As an economist, and especially working as a policy advisor, our professional responsibility requires that we base our requires us that we have information, numbers, and statistics in order to develop policies based on information that is accurate, reliable, credible, and consistent. During those days, statistical information was very limited to non-existent, and if it were available, they were usually very outdated. So I made it a concerted journey to commence the gathering of information to see what was available, to determine who has what information and whose responsibility and authority it was to gather the information, thereby creating a network to combine the various sources of information in order to get a picture of the economic developments of the island. Additionally, much of the information that was compiled that we depended was done by the former central government in Curacao with satellite offices in St. Martin. It wasn't until 1999, when I became the head of the Department of Economic Policy and Research, that we really started to control of providing of information, statistical information, on a consistent basis to the public. In 1994, Ms. McKinney Hickinson became the section head of the research division, where she was able to sharpen her skills and prepare herself for her present function as head of the statistical department. An achievement I am very proud of, to see her personal and professional development and that of the department. That today we can stand here after the famous 10-10-10, where St. Martin became a country within the Dutch kingdom. It was only then, 4 years ago, that this department took over all responsibilities that formerly belonged to the central government. And I'm very proud to see our statistical department has taken over the full responsibility of it. Which leads me to my second point. The topic is the importance of having and providing statistical information. Working within this ministry, we are always asked and expected to have statistical information. Many businesses ask for information from GDP, inflation, unemployment, population. However, it always amuses me that this information comes from businesses and the community, so I must admit, I find it relatively ironic how and why businesses don't like to cooperate, yet still expect government to have this information. We cannot create the information. It must be obtained from a combination of businesses, households, and government. Many businesses use statistical information to review their business operations, to see how things are doing relative to see how their business is doing relative to others, as well as to see how the economy in general is doing. This information is or can be used to determine whether or not they would like to expand their operations, hire more, invest more, etc. So the need for information is certainly fundamental for all parties. The timing and consistency of information is also very important for their planning as well. Again, I draw a link between the need and importance of cooperating with our requests so that we in turn can provide you with timely and consistent information. If support, cooperation, and consistency is there, the information will be there. If you need help with and assistance with the service, the department is also there to guide you and to assist you as well. We do, however, understand that businesses don't want to be bothered with too much unnecessary service, hence the reason we try to combine our efforts to ensure that we can minimize the need to have too much service during a particular year. As a matter of fact, tonight you will see the direct and indirect benefits of providing your information to the statistical department. The information we get from you, the information we get from individual business are combined into a total where your individual business information will never be seen or known to the public. The statistical department is not allowed to share the individual business information with the tax office or any other government department. So please rest assured your information is safe with us. As a matter of fact, in the very near future, we're going to be giving public presentations about a group of, I would say, stakeholders that we have, what we call the Economic Monitoring Committee, where you will be able to see the kind of information we have, the quality of the information, the depth of the analysis, that we work along with major stakeholders such as the SSTA, the Chamber of Commerce, Marine Trade Association, and a number of other major different government departments where we do in-depth analysis of the information that we have. And we will be presenting that information to you, the public, so that as stakeholders you will see how your information is so vital and important. Before going into my last point, I would like to link the importance of this information to policy decisions that we need to address, such as the aging of the population and the salary income levels of the population, which forces us to recognize the need to address this structural problem going forward in the future. This is merely one simple but significant example of how important information is needed and can be used to influence policies and priorities. Given the above mentioned, this brings me to my last point, which is to humbly ask of you your understanding of the need to cooperate, your trust that your information will be held and kept confidential, and lastly, and most important, is to encourage your colleagues in your environments, in your networks, and your surroundings. We cannot do this alone. We cannot provide information to you without your help. We cannot make good policies and or decisions without the pertinent information. Now, I do realize that sometimes you're speaking to the choir, but it's still, we would like to encourage you to encourage your friends and your colleagues and your business associates to cooperate so that you can have the information that we would like. So I end my opening remarks by encouraging you, the members, to remember this is a classical case where it certainly takes two hands to clap. It takes both of us to make it work. Let's take it to the next level.
Head of the Department of Statistics, Ms. McKinney Higginson, also spoke at Friday's session where she reinforced the importance of statistics within our community.
An information session geared towards enterprise representatives is something that STAT has wanted to do for quite some time now. At least twice per year, my team responsible for business establishment surveys would meet and evaluate the outcome of the data collection process, which encompasses the type of interaction that our fieldwork staff has and has had with businesses, as well as the level of cooperation that we receive from the business community. We have also been assessing the quality of the data that is being returned to our department, and have kept a watchful eye on the declining survey response rates every year. Needless to say, there is considerable room for improvement in all these aspects. And similar to the initiative of this evening, STAT will continue to accentuate, in this case, its two main surveys that impact businesses each year. We would like to engage more closely with you all and build trust on either sides. We would like to eliminate many of the challenges that we face as a department and as a country in achieving the right balance between top quality and well-timed economic statistics. What better time than now could STAT choose to reach out to our many business stakeholders as the region commemorated Caribbean Statistics Day last week, Wednesday, October 15th, under the theme Data Revolution for Sustainable Development of CARICOM, designing and operationalizing a framework for statistics in the post-2015 development agenda. A theme that clearly suggests a focal role for official statistics in the further development of our peoples and our communities, but also speaks to a workable plan as it regards innovative statistics today as an impetus for tomorrow's growth, as well as to ensure a better overall prepared society. STAT cannot emphasize enough this evening that business participation and public-private coordination is a must in order for us to carry out our statistical responsibility and enhance the services that we give to the public of St. Martin.
Stay tuned. You're watching 30 Minutes with Government.
I was deceived about the nature of my job. I was threatened with violence. I worked excessive days and hours, and money was withheld from me. My boss has no respect for the labor laws. All my documents were confiscated as I was confined and isolated. Now that you know, what will you do?
You can help by calling Immigration and Border Protection at 543-0355 or send email to nachicotip@gmail.com. Human trafficking and exploitation, please report it.
The Fire Department kicks off Fire Prevention Week from October 27th to November 1st under the theme Preventing and Acting in Event of a Fire. The annual event, which is organized by the Section Fire Prevention and Friends of the Island Government Firefighters, is aimed at increasing fire safety awareness throughout the community. Mr. Kirk Richardson of the Section Prevention at the Fire Department, while speaking at a press conference on Wednesday, October 22nd, elaborated on the week of activities.
We're going to be out in the field. We're going to be visiting the schools, mostly the third grades from the elementary schools. And in the evening time, we'll be visiting the different community centers. On Monday, we're starting off with the Max School. That will be the first school we'll be visiting at 9:30. And from 9:30 to 10, we will be visiting the Max School. From 10:30 to 11:30, we will be visiting the Ruby La Vega School. On the evening, on Monday evening, we start our lectures in the different communities, starting at the St. Peter's community. Then we move on to the Tuesday evening. We'll move on to the Dutch Quarter community. And Wednesday evening, Colby at the John Hodge Hall, that is in the Methodist Church. And Thursday night we'll be Middle Region at the Sister Marie Laurent School. And Friday we'll be Sucker Garden at the Lions Club building. On Saturday we'll finalize the week with our open house. There are the different vendors that is involved in selling fire safety materials, and such as extinguishers, exit lights, emergency lights, fire alarm systems. They will be there to display their merchandise that they are selling. We also will have drills, which will be done by the fire department.
Mr. Tony Gibbs of the Fire Department says he will be directly involved in the open house and demonstrations, which takes place on Saturday, November 1st. And he also said that Prevention Week should not be confused with Fireman's Week, which is held earlier in the year.
Basically, on the Saturday, we invite everybody out to the open house where we'll be demonstrating our equipment that we have, and also see what the guys can do with the equipment that we have. There'll be a short demonstration on how to use them. Someone in the public might get a feeling of them, maybe have the jaws of life, or maybe feel the suit that we wear, put on a helmet or a jacket, and see what we does with these equipments that we have. Besides that, Prevention Week. Prevention Week is a week that is celebrated worldwide in October. It's not in connection with the Fireman's Week that we have in March. It's two different weeks, but we're focusing through Prevention Week on the safety aspect of the fire department, to get the public out there aware of the safety part, and at their homes, at schools, wherever they are on the island. With that, we also have the fun part of it. The fun part, we call it fun, but for you all, it's more a serious part, a dangerous part, and we are trained for that part. So we'll do a little demonstration on this Saturday concerning that whole Prevention Week.
A coordinated island-wide cleanup continues this week that is geared toward picking up the remaining debris left post-Hurricane Gonzalo. Head of Public Works Department, Mr. Claudius Moncampo, while speaking to 30 Minutes with Government, highlighted key points the community must keep in mind when handling their debris and household garbage.
We're asking you to try to put your garbage in receptacles, and if the receptacle in front of your house blew away or washed away because it was left outside instead of in your yard, we're asking you to find the receptacle and put it in. So make the extra effort and find one of the bigger bins we have in the various districts. I mean, everybody knows where they are. Those are not secretly hidden in any passages. They are alongside the road. Just make the extra effort and throw your garbage in there to prevent that unhygienic situation. A word of caution also, a lot of water has been collected in a lot of old tires, maybe old cars, pots, pans, whatever. Turn them over. Those are breeding grounds for mosquitoes. You don't want the chikungunya back. You don't want the dengue back unnecessarily. Take a little precaution or throw a little Clorox and all of those things. You know, just buy a little pan of Clorox. You don't want to throw it away. You want to use the water still, throw a little Clorox in it. It will kill the larva, and the water can still be used afterwards to plant, you know, for your plants or whatever. So just a couple of indicating points that we want to give to people. We will be.
Stay tuned. You're watching 30 Minutes with Government.
I was deceived about the nature of my job. I was threatened with violence. I worked excessive days and hours, and money was withheld from me. My boss has no respect for the labor laws. All my documents were confiscated as I was confined and isolated. Now that you know, what will you do?
You can help by calling Immigration and Border Protection at 543-0355 or send email to nachicotip@gmail.com. Human trafficking and exploitation. Please report it.
The St. Martin Hindu Organization and the Hindu community of St. Martin celebrated their second annual Diwali Cultural Evening on Saturday, October 25th at the Bel Air Community Center. Prime Minister and Chair Lady of Parliament, the Honorable Sarah Westcott Williams, addressed the well-attended event.
Thank you for the opportunity to share this cultural evening with you tonight as you observe Diwali 2014. For whatever or wherever you are in this celebration, I know for many of you, most of you in fact, it's a tradition. It is part of your traditional observance. But the significance of Diwali, I think, is something that we all could recognize and what it stands for, why you observe it. And so tonight, as you have your cultural manifestation, I think it would behoove all of us to pay attention to the meaning of Diwali, what you strive for, what it signifies. And so this evening, as you observe your cultural manifestation, let us look at the things, what it means, what it could mean for all of us. It's about goodness over evil. It's about knowledge over ignorance. It's about cleanliness. It's about so many things, attitudes, and attributes that we all can use and observe. So this evening, I encourage you to enjoy your evening. I thank you for being part of our community and your culture, together with all of the cultures on St. Martin. Make the one culture of St. Martin a beautiful one, a strong one, a dynamic one, and one constantly in evolution. So this is part of the bigger culture of St. Martin. So as you observe it, I congratulate you. I wish you a happy Diwali. and may you continue to be part of our community, observing and remembering your culture, but at the same time recognizing that you are part of a larger community of St. Martiners, all St. Martiners. You, we, and all of the others. Have a wonderful evening. May God bless this proceeding, all of you, and may God bless St. Martin. Thank you and have a wonderful evening.
President of the St. Martin Hindu Organization, Ms. Mahendri Ramratan, brought words of welcome and highlighted the journey the organization has undergone.
For those who missed last year's program or do not attend the Mandir, I would just like to tell you briefly about the St. Martin Hindu Organization. It is still a baby, just 2 years old, almost. Coincidentally, or maybe not, we started right here in the little prayer room on November 11th. That's St. Martin's Day. And here we are again. Anyway, prayer services began right here in the center in November 2011, thanks to Mr. Danny Mirchandani. We will always be grateful for you for accommodating us, paving the way for us to push forward. Thank you. So we started our service in prayer room and then quickly shifted to this stage because we wanted more space. And by October the following year, we again moved to our now current location in the Sun Building on Welfare Road, Cole Bay. Services were being conducted once per month and then officially changed to twice monthly, the first and the third Sunday of each month. Besides these days, satsang is also kept on other religious days and for Navrat. There is also kirtan practice on Friday evenings. Services continue on a regular basis, and thanks to our Panditji, time means time. Sunita starts promptly on the scheduled time. She's very serious about the time, and you do not have to be afraid when you attend, so you will miss your meeting. It's always on time, and you're going to get where you have to go.
That brings us to the end of this edition of 30 Minutes with Government. For video on demand of this program and all other DCOM programming, we invite you to visit the official government website, www.stmartingov.org. On behalf of all of us here at the Department of Communication and the Government of St. Martin, I'm Cedric Peterson. Thanks for watching.